As you can see in front of you is the Teenage Engineering Pocket Operator P012 rhythm. I'm going to run through some functions of the unit. I know it's been out for a while and there are quite a lot of tutorials already available, but there are a few things that I've just discovered that I thought that it might be useful to someone else online, maybe if they thought this was a little bit of a gimmick, if they thought it was a toy. I might help clear a few things up. So I'm going to run through each of the functions of this device and go into some more in-depth tutorials later. So I hope this helps. Going from left to right, we've got the sound button, pattern button, BPM button, knob A, knob B, and then the 4x4 sound buttons. We've got kick, snare, hi-hat, open hi-hat, synthesized snare, sticks, cymbal, which doesn't sound like a cymbal at the moment. Still doesn't sound exactly like a cymbal, but we'll have a play with that later. Noise, hand claps, clicks, low tom, high tom, blip. In fact, sorry, that's the cabba. Blip, tone, and bass tone. And holding the pattern button and pressing one of the buttons from 1 to 16 will trigger that specific pattern. And you can get into some chaining patterns, which is something that I've found quite useful, and for building songs it works out really well. And then it also has effects on it, which if we just quickly program a pattern. Okay. Notice I've just turned it down. It has when you press the BPM knob, you can turn the volume up or down by holding the BPM knob and clicking one of the 1 to 16 pads. If you are on pad 16, it distorts. So at the moment I've got my the P012 going into my Sapphire interface, and it's set even at 16. It's not clipping on my interface. Everything's green. So I think they've got this clip circuit in. So everything's okay here. You can hear that kick drum just clipping a little bit. You can use it to your creative advantage, I guess. So with the effects, hold the effect knob, and pad 1 we've got a low sample rate, pad 2's distortion, pad 3 is bit crusher, 4 is a delay, 5 is a low pass filter, 6 is a low pass sweep, 7 is a high pass filter, 8 is a high pass sweep, 9 is a stutter, 3 is a stutter and 3s. We've got a 8 repeat note, but you have to and 12 is a 6 repeat. We've got a note shuffle. Feedback. Then down this side we have the function knob, effects knob, which we just covered, the play knob and the right knob, or the right button, play button and the right button, where you can see toggles on the right mode. So the first thing that I'm going to cover is starting a pattern from scratch, which the easiest way to do that is by clearing the pattern that is currently in this in memory. So this is what we got at the moment. If you hold function and press pattern button, it wipes it clean. And we're starting from scratch. You can select your BPM in a number of ways. Either tap the BPM knob and you'll get one of their predefined BPMs. So here we've got hip hop, which is actually 80 BPM. Then you've got disco, which is 120, and 140 is techno, which is the third one. Or you can press and hold the BPM button and then rotate the encoder B or knob B to get the specific tempo, and you can rotate encoder A to get swing, which again we'll come up to in a bit. So I'm going to start by putting 4 to the floor. So we hold sound and press on the first pad to get into step mode. Make sure this right enabled is on. Maybe that's too fast, depending on what we were writing. We're going to put in some snare. So that was hold sound and press the snare button. Okay, that's sounding good. We'll then notice I'm turning off the right button. If you hold the right button whilst pressing a pad that we like, you can play in the note live and it will quantize it to the nearest step. So we're going to go. Okay, so it's a bit like that. Ignore my timing there. So what we'll do is press the right button and then correct that. Okay, so let's say we like that, but we're not too happy with the sounds. What we can do is we can go back to the original sound that we're on, so that's the kick, and rotate either encoder A or encoder B to change the tone. Generally, encoder A is the tuning, and B is the snappiness, the length of the sample. Okay. I find it sometimes a bit difficult to get the hi-hats to sound similar. So I like that sound. Now, I don't find that 16 steps is enough to get an interesting song or to build a song. So something that I've learnt fairly recently is that you can actually copy a pattern. So let's go back to our first pattern, the one that we just created. And what we can do is hold the right button, the pattern button. Actually, you need more than... You can't do this with one hand easily, not with the camera in the way. You hold the right button, the pattern button, and the pad that you want to copy it to. Make sure that you don't need that pattern because you can't get it back after you've done this. So this is pattern 2 at the moment. No, in fact, this is pattern 1 and this is pattern 2. Exactly the same. So we can do maybe more kicks. So let's chain those two together. Press 1, 2, 2, 1. Let's see that. Okay, so you can see how you can start to build some patterns up fairly easily by doing that. What's nice about that mode is, you know, let's say for example, we wanted to add so not very musical, doesn't matter actually. Let's add that in. That's 32. That's over 32 steps. So hold the right button, make sure right's not enabled. See? So that's done that over the 32 steps over both patterns. So you can quickly start to build up songs this way. I find it easiest to you know, clear the pattern first, put some form of tempo like metronome in there. So I'd put a kick in there and copy that pattern to the second, third and fourth pad. So that's what we've got on the second, that's what we've got on the third, and that's what we've got on the fourth, and we go 1, 2, 3, 4, and it should play in that order. Now you want to start the pattern from the beginning, so as soon as I hit play, I'm going to start hitting the snare. So you know what? Okay, there we go. Okay, let's get the hi-hat going. Circle button whenever it comes up, and you need to write it until this note plays. Otherwise, what will end up happening, if you see, when you edit the sound, you can start tuning things down while they're playing. So that's the tone that I like there, so I'm going to hold it for the full round of the patterns. Now, I've personally never been able to make a tune work with the high note and low note. I find them a bit too fiddly, and I personally don't like the sound of them. Okay, so something else now that we'll go into is the note repeat, which again is something that I only recently discovered, and it's something that isn't that obvious. There's a really fantastic manual on the Teenage Engineering website that just goes through basically everything in detail, and it's really worth checking out if you ever get a bit stuck. So if we get the hi-hat, and we do this, turn the right off, and what you want to do is hold down, in fact turn the right on, hold down the step that you want to repeat and press the BPM button. Yep, so you got 2 times multiplier, 4 times multiplier, 8 times multiplier, and 16. So, and you can do this individually per each sound. So if I stick a kick down, it's not going to repeat the kick, which is really, really nice. The only qualm I have with it is you can't actually, you can't actually see what step and what multiplication level you're on. So without listening to it specifically, and then you always have to remember that to turn it off, you just press it once more. So that covers my not so short tutorial on the PO12.